Praise the Lord. My name is Esther Wambi. I'm born again. I love Christ. I like talking about families, and especially when it comes husband and wife, when it comes to marriage, when it comes to companionship, when it comes to working together as a family with God, and looking forward for greatness that comes through God. And so last time I talked about sex and how we should take care of our sexual lives, and especially when it comes to you cannot afford to have an intimate relationship with somebody who's not your husband. And I was looking at it in terms of what sexual sin can bring destruction in our lives. And because of that, it's very important for us to be able to watch our walk and our move and anything that we do sexually, and especially when it comes to sanctity of sex. And today I want us to look at the commitment, or rather the duties we owe each other as husband and wife, and how committed we should be. You know, when we come together as husband and wife, we come together as husband and wife because we have needs that are supposed to be met by the other spouse. Probably sometimes we don't understand, and that's the reason why we always have problems and issues in marriage, because sometimes you get married and you don't know why you're getting married. It's very, very important for us to know why we get married, so that we can be able to understand how to walk that journey together. Because there are needs that are supposed to be met in these marriages, and these needs are the ones that are supposed to keep that relationship together. And anytime the needs that are not met, probably that would cause a lot of friction between the couples. And that is the reason why it's very important for us as believers to understand our needs to each other and how we can be able to meet them. And so that we can be able to work towards meeting every single need. Well, we may not meet every need every moment, but at least it's good to make an effort to show that you at least you are interested in meeting the needs of your spouse. And so men and women have different needs, and it's very important to understand needs according to the spouse and the priorities and preferences of your spouse. Because sometimes you might want to meet needs, but you are not able to meet the needs as far as when it comes to priorities. You might prioritize the needs that are not as important as based on probably what you think. But it's very important to understand your spouse and to understand his needs and her needs, and based on the priorities, so that you don't mess up any of your relationships. So when it comes to men, their needs, one of the things that for men that must be met is a man needs to be appreciated and admired. You know, when a man comes into your life as a spouse, when you get married to this man, you've got to understand that this man has been created and made in such a way that since time immemorial, we are living in patriarchal society where men actually are the kings. So when a man comes into your life, you have to understand that there is a king that has come. So you really have to make sure the man maintains, that leadership, that kingship, that feeling that, I'm appreciated and I'm admired. I'm a person here. Mimi ndio hapa. Mimi ndio kusema hapa. So that this person feels that in that home, him alone, he's the man in that home. That concept of a king. Well, it is even in animals, by the way. If you go to, probably if you learn more about, maybe if you go to the jungle and you find about lions, you'll find that every territory has its own lion. There is no two male lions that are in one territory. So one territory with one male lion, and that male lion does not allow the female lion, which is with him there, to go to any other lion outside there. And this lion guards that territory. And this female lion understands that this territory is guarded. So even in our homes, our spouses who are our husbands, our men, they want that feeling that I'm the king in this place. And so he has to be understood to be actually one person who is supposed to be the end of the game. So whatever needs that are there that are supposed to be met, and whatever is supposed to be done, he's supposed to actually give a nod. You don't just assume His presence should be very effective, should be working. So it is very important for a woman to know that this is the king around, this is the man around. He needs to be respected, he needs to be appreciated, he needs to be understood, and he needs to you know, to kind of feel that he's the one around. So that is one of the needs. And if you don't meet that need, anytime you assume that your husband is just like any other person, that marriage will have a problem. Because when you treat him casually, you know, let us not treat our spouses casually. Especially women should not treat their men casually. Don't treat your husband casually. Let him feel that he's a very important person in that place. And so that is one of the needs that a man needs to be, you know, that needs to be met in a man. And number two, he needs to be respected and honored. You know, there's a difference between admiring and appreciating somebody, and also honoring somebody and respecting somebody. When you respect somebody, you feel, you always reference that person. Respect means that if I'm making a decision as a woman, I have to reference my husband. He has to come into the picture. Even when he's absent, his presence is not there. Whatever decision that I make, I should factor him in. I should factor his preferences first. I should know that if he would be there, okay, if he's here, what would he want this thing to look like? So that respect. People you don't respect, you don't care what they feel about what you do. So somebody you respect, you always care what this person feels. So anytime you make a decision as a woman, you'll always factor him in, even when he's absent. Honoring somebody is making sure that this person is takes that high level of is held in a very high esteem. You hold this person in a very high esteem, such that yani huyu mtu ni wa muhimu sana katika mambo yote in that place. So when you honor somebody, like for example, when we say that we honor God, when we honor God, we give him everything that is good. You give God the glory, you give God all the, you kind of brace yourself to worship him, or rather to raise him on high, or rather to hold him very highly, so that God knows that this place I am honored. Actually, mimi ndio kusema. So when you honor your husband, you honor him in the sense that he's the head of the home. So everything that works under his umbrella. Everything works under the umbrella of this man. So when you don't honor somebody, you really don't really care whether he's in or he's not in. Whatever you do does not really have to really, whether it affects him positively or not, you don't really care. But when you honor somebody, you always know that whatever I'm doing it under this person. So as a wife, you understand that you're doing whatever you're doing, and you're doing it under the umbrella of your husband. So it is very important to honor your husband. Men who are not honored, they really feel, some of them, they have very low self-esteem. And that is the reason why some of these men that drink, some of them, I'm not saying all, there are some men who resort to drinking because in their homes they are not honored. When a man comes home, nobody cares whether he has entered, whether he ate or he did not eat. Or, there are some people who really don't care. So that don't care attitude brings the honor down. So it makes that man feel that I'm not wanted here. I'm not very important here. So I can as well not be here. So they resort to other ways of making them feel maybe they are better. So it's very, very important. And number 3, recognition of leadership. It's very important to recognize the leadership of your spouse, and especially a man. Because that leadership, being the leader, when the Bible says that the man is the head of the home, that means that he's been given the helm of leadership in that family. So whatever is happening in that family, he has to make the last resort decision. Rather, he has to be, in every decision that is made, he has to actually give a nod. Giving a nod in this sense is that if, for example, I tell my husband there's something I want us to do and he says no, or sometimes I might have to call it off for some time. Either I resort to praying about it so that, we can be at par, or I ask God to give him wisdom to have it done, whichever, in his own way, but in a way that probably I would want also to see it done well. So I'll not keep on fighting. Sometimes some of these homes, there's a lot of battles, there's a lot of fighting. Why are there people fighting? Because probably the man has not given a nod, and the woman feels that it must be done my way. In the family setup, we should not have that attitude that things must be done my way. it is very important to have an attitude that we shall discuss, sit, and agree. So sometimes, even when we don't agree, if my husband-in-law, for example, does not agree to what I want done, there are many ways to go around it. We can do it his way. If he feels that that must be the way that it must be done, or I can pray about it and seek God to intervene. You know, God always comes through. When you intervene, God, you know, God will always come through. So what I'm saying is that it is very important to recognize the leadership of the man in the home. There are many homes where men are not recognized, and any time that the roles change, you'll find there is always a problem. Because sometimes, you know, you find that even whatever is done in that home affects the very generation of that family. Because if you don't show your children to respect their father, and if you don't show that the father in that home is respected, then you are you know, it's a you know, you're trying to change the, you know, the order of things. And what will happen to your generation? Your daughters will not respect their husbands, and your sons might end up not being respected. So it's very, very important for us to build a foundation that can last, and a foundation that can be built on and bear fruits that are good. So, and number 4, sexual fulfillment. The way men are created differently from women. And when we look at men, much as women also have sex and enjoy it, but men, they love sex more than women. That is for a fact. And a man, that is why it's very easy for a man to fall, you know, into sin of immorality than a woman. It is easier to find a man falling into the sin of immorality. But a woman can easily control herself. Reason being, men use their eyes to get attraction, but women use their feelings to get attraction. So as long as a woman has not sat next to a man, or is not, nobody's touching you, and it is very hard, it's not easy for a woman to get lured into sex. But a man can just be lured into sex through eyes. They can just see, watch until they get into the whole thing. So it's very, very important to make sure that you satisfy your spouse sexually. The man in your life, that man, your husband, make sure that he is comfortable. Make sure that you take serious his sexual needs, so that you guard him against being maybe lured into sin of immorality by whatever he sees outside there. So when you take care of your husband, or when you take care of your spouse, sexual needs, you are simply telling him that this is the home where you will eat and be satisfied. So it's very, very important to understand that's a very, very important need, and we should not just take it lightly. You know, we should not have to fight in order for people to get their sexual rights. You know, there are some homes where people have to really physically fight. You know, there is a lot of struggling. Watu wanapigana, wanangangana for them to get their, you know, their rights. So let us not get there. Let us not be the people who fight before they have their needs met. So make sure that if you are a Christian woman, strive to meet your spouse's needs. It's very, very important for this man to feel that he's loved at home, he's taken care of at home, and that he will feel that sense of belonging. He will feel that this is the place where I must go home early, where I must stay, where I must take all my effort there, do all my things there. So ni ya muhimu sana to make sure that your spouse gets all his sexual needs. And number 5, friendship. Be a friend to your husband. Be a friend to your spouse. Make sure that his friendship needs are met at home. Let him not come home and find that hapa ni kama barracks. There is always fighting. We are always planning for war. Hapana, wacha this man akikuja nyumbani, anajua ya kwamba he's loved. Even the words we use at home, the words we use when people come into the house, when your spouse gets into the house, are very, very important. Make sure that at least he feels welcomed. He feels welcomed when he comes home. So that is a need that needs to be met. People don't even imagine that friendship is a need. You can imagine a home or a place where you live and there is no friendship. That every time you are either quarreling or you are always fighting, or there are things going on there that are not, that are not good. It is very, very important. Everybody and every person would want to be in a place where they feel that they are loved. They feel that they are friends to these people. Make your spouse a friend. Meet that friendship need of a spouse. Make sure that your husband feels that he has a friend in the wife. He has a friend in the woman he lives with. He has a friend in the mother of his children. Let him feel that even when the whole world breaks down, he has one person that can never leave him. He has one person that he can trust. He has one person that he can rely upon. And that person is you. So that he's always outside there, and wherever he goes, he feels that even when outside there things are not working. Huko nje kikiumana, huko nje mambo kama mambo ikianza kuchamuka huko nje, anaweza rudi for cooling at home. So it is very, very important. Ni ya muhimu sana kujua ya kwamba people are looking for friends. Be a friend to your spouse. Let your husband find a friend in you so that his need of friendship can be met. You know, there are some men who would want to stay outside there for long. Some of them are outside there with very bad people because they don't find friendship in their wives. When they come home, actually, when unamngoja tu hivi na makucha umetoa, it is quarreling right from the door. Ufanyi, ukai, you know, those kind of things. You know, you don't allow your husband even to settle down fast. Unaanza kumuulizia mambo kwa gate. Sasa leo umeleta nini? Ona leo vile unaona, you know, those kind of things. Make a friend from your husband. Let him find a friend in you. Let him find a friend in the wife that he's living with. Let him find satisfaction of friendship in the home that he's coming from. He'll be attracted to that home many times. He'll come home early. He will appreciate the home he lives. And that is the reason why sometimes he will even go out of his way to come home with the things that you have not even asked for. Do you know there are some homes where a man will not come with anything until vitu zenye anakujanga nazo tu zenye ulipiga simu kamwambia niletee 1 2 3 4 5. Hawezi kwenda outside that budget yako tu. If you don't call, nothing will come. Hawezi hata kuona kitu kizuri na akuletee kwa sababu wewe, he does not think about you when he's outside there. Let us occupy the minds of our husbands with our friendship. Let them know I have a friend. Let him, hata akienda supermarket vitu zenye hujauliza anaongeza juu, anasema I can take this one to my friend because this lady is truly my friend. Meet that friendship need and the home will be a place and a good place to live. And number 6, physically attract your spouse. It is very important to attract your husband. You know, make sure that at least you remain attractive. You know, sometimes hiyo mambo ya kujigurum saa zingine inaletanga shida. Unapata ya kwamba yani you're just a young woman, very young. But ukiangaliwa unakaa kama mtu wa miaka 50 na 100. Yani your spouse vile alikuoa, hiyo picture hata ilishaondoka. You have just lived in this marriage for 5 years, but you look so old and different because you don't groom yourself. You don't remain attractive. Let me tell you, there are some people who think that when you remain attractive that you attract watu huko nje. Hapana. Just remain attractive for that very man who saw you. Actually, if you're not attractive earlier, he would not have seen you. And now that he saw you, build that attractiveness. Remain attractive. Physically remain attractive. Groom yourself. Let him see the wife he saw. Wacha aendelee kuona the girl in you. Always. Akikuja hata kama even if you are a lady of 50 years, anaona the girl mwenye aliona ndani yako because you are permanently and constantly looking nice, looking, attractive. So that when he's around you, he's proud. Actually, he's proud of even introducing you to his friends, introducing you to his workmates. You know, there's some men who cannot even go anywhere with their wives. Hata kama kuna dinner na wameambiwa waende na wake zao. Anasemanga tu, my wife is busy, I cannot come with her. Because haoni mtu mwenye anaenda kupresent kwa, kwa colleagues. Because wewe umejizeesha, umekaa sijui kama mtu mwenye sijui, yani unakaanga tu kama mtu mwenye hata alisahaulika. Can you please groom yourself? Not for any other person, but for the sake of your spouse. Let your spouse find attractive wife in you. Remain attractive. Remain build up. Remain good. Jitengeneze. Look good. Let your husband be happy. Make him happy. Enjoy. Let him enjoy you. Let him, let him have that picture of that girl in you always. So that hata akiona mambo mengi huko nje, hata imvuti. Kwa sababu anajua, I have an attractive woman in my house. I love my wife. So it's very, very important as spouses to meet each other's needs. There are so many other needs we shall continue learning from there. We shall get to understand how we are supposed to continually meet our spouses' needs. God bless you so much. You can subscribe in my YouTube and you can support this program. God bless you. Amen.